Hey, what's going on everyone? This is Mike Kollin at crackedfemalcode.com. Alright, so this video is going to be the very much shortened video of the last video. I realized I could make it a lot shorter and get right to the point. So if you want the full version with the scientific explanations from psychology, our neurology, how our nerves are connected from one part to a different part of our brain, watch the video just before this one. And that video's name is How to Turn Women On, How the Female Mating System is Wired for Seduction. So this is going to be the shortened version of that. There's something very specific I want you to understand. If you guys want a deeper understanding and make a real investment, buy my book, Crack the Female Code. It's on sale right now for $35, normally $60. Okay, so before I get into it, I'm going to give you just a tiny little bit, super fast. I'm a certified NLP trainer, master hypnotherapist, master practitioner of timeline therapy, trained in linguistics, trained under Tony Robbins for years, trained under Dr. Tad James, Dr. Bandler, Dr. Grinder. Let's see what else. There's a ton. I studied psychology at Arizona State, and I studied under Dr. Cialdini. He wrote a book. It's very famous. It was back in the 90s, early 2000s, called The Psychology of Influence of Persuasion. And I studied under Tony Robbins for about 3 years. There's a ton of people that have trained him and certified. There's too long of a list to leave right now. And another note is Jacob Stitch Duran. He's the #1 cutman in the world, in the boxing world, and in MMA, and was the head cutman in the UFC. He was my kickboxing coach and cutman for 7 years. I was national champion in kickboxing, several state boxing champion, etc., etc. So I have a lot of things I've done. Studied my ass off. Spoke at Hewlett Packard four times, teaching them NLP, communication, influence, persuasion skills. Alright, let's get right to it. Okay, I'm going to get to the nitty gritty in this video. Okay, so here's the deal. Men and women are hardwired differently neurologically. Our mating systems are wired to two different parts of our brain. And that is not the only thing. In the subsequent videos, I'm going to talk about different reasons and how we're wired differently, how we're using two different processors, like the IBM computer versus the Apple computer's processor. They're radically different processors, and how all of this is causing massive problems between men and women. But the man that learns how to understand these things, these hidden seduction secrets, communication skills, gets the girl. There's a trick that Mother Nature hid from you that has caused all these problems, and in my course I answer all of them. So really quick, this is not, it is, but it's not. This is the opposite of pickup artist courses. This is what they are missing. By the way, this is a tweet that my coach sent to me years ago on Twitter. Alright, so let's move on. Alright, here it is. Okay. So men and women, our mating systems are in the same place. It's called the lower reptilian brain. It's on the brain stem. So you get the large left and right hemispheres. That's the left logical, the right 5 sense, emotional, creative, spiritual right brain. The internal brain, the left brain is the external brain. So we're focusing on the lower, smaller reptilian brain. It's the fight or flight instinctual brain. Its #1 job, and it has authority over everything in your body, over your left and right brain, etc. Its #1 job is to keep you alive, okay? So it's very instinctual. It's not logical. It's not creative. It is instinctual. It's pre-wired. You were born with these settings, and this is the way it is. So its #1 job is to keep you alive. So, for example, you might have been about to step off the curb into the street, and then something pulls you back, but it was nobody was there, and a bus goes zooming by like a half a second later. That is your reptilian brain keeping you alive. It's the survival brain. It's the instinctual brain. Its #2 job, again, it has authority over, is your mating system. Its #2 job is to keep the species alive by getting you to reproduce and have sex and have babies. To keep the species alive, to keep us going as a human species. Now, the reason why I mention that is because this has a very, very powerful effect on our mating system. In other words, you know what, like when I was younger, you just see a pretty girl and man, you are just turned on. There's nothing you can do about it. Well, guess what? If you understand the secret when it comes to women, it'll have the same effect. They cannot deny it. But there's a problem. Men do not know what this secret is. They have no clue. It's not taught in the pickup artist courses. It's not taught by Tony Robbins or Dr. Tad James or any of these people. So what men do unconsciously is they try to attract romance and turn women on and love women in the male way, the way that men are wired. And guess what? All it does is irritate her and piss her off. We don't want to do that. We want her to be happy. And we want her to be turned on. So here it is. And then I'm going to ask you a question because I want to see if you have common sense. Okay, so both of our mating system is in the lower reptilian brain. All right. So the difference is this. The male mating system connects to the optic nerves, which connect to the left and the right eyes. So the male mating system is directly connected to our eyes, which means we are visually stimulated. And what I mean is, visually is how our mating system is triggered, and thus we are sexually turned on. Visually. Now I'm pointing to my eyes, because that's how men get turned on sexually. Okay? So like this picture, we see a girl's soft skin, her soft shoulders, her long beautiful hair, her butt, you know, the way she swivels her hips, etc., her boobs, her cute smile, her eyes. We are attracted. It's boom, it's just like that. It is instant, it is fast. We look at a girl, she's either our type or she's not. That's it, and it's done. We're ready to go. Well, guess what? She is not N-O-T. She is not wired that way. So how is she wired? Her mating system is in the same place as yours, in the lower reptilian brain, the instinctual fight or fight brain. Now, here's the difference. Her nerve, she has a nerve that curves off to the right brain, specifically the right brain's communication center. Okay, so number one, I am going to ask you a very, very simple question, okay? Because this is really, really hard for the male brain to get over, to understand, because we're not wired this way. So everything in us says, no, that's not it. All right. So if your mating system is connected to your eyes, how are you turned on? More importantly, if her mating system has a nerve that curves off to her right brain and connects to her right brain's communication center, how is she turned on? Now, for men, I point to my eyes. For women, I point to my ears. Communication. Okay, so I'm going to make it real simple question. After what I just taught you, and by the way, yes, we learned this in psychology class. We learned this in the biology of the way the human brain is wired, etc., etc. Okay, this is not something I'm making up. You can go to your local college, your local professor, or a brain surgeon, and they will tell you, yes, you can look it up. There are diagrams. You can look it up in books, etc., etc., okay? So the question is this. If her nerve goes from her mating system off to her right brain's communication center, how do you turn a woman on? If you said looks, you are wrong. That's how you are turned on. That's how men are turned on. If you said right brain communication, you would be correct. Now here's the problem. Men, the male brain is the left hemisphere, the left brain, which is the logical hemisphere. This turns women off. Now here's why. Her mating system connects to the right brain's communication center, which is inside the right brain. If you're being Mr. Logical, thinking and logicalizing. You force her to leave her right brain and go to her left brain, and thus you disconnected her from her mating system, and thus you turned her off, and thus you put yourself in the box, otherwise known as the friend zone. You did it, not her. If you want to understand this in a much more in-depth way, buy my book, Crack the Female Code, at crackthefemalecode.com. It's on sale right now. Normally it's $60. It's on sale for $35 right now. The prices are going up very soon. Better yet, buy the ultimate package. It has all my books in there for men. It's got Crack the Female Code, which is the most important book you have to read. The next one is Get the Girl and Keep the Girl. Okay, that book teaches a very core secret that we will go over and over in my training, okay? Number 3 is the book Sex Signals. That will teach you some body language that women are actually attracted to you, but the way men are wired, we think she literally is saying, no, don't talk to me, when she's actually telling you to approach. And you're also going to get a small ebook called In the Beginning. It gives you an introduction to the hidden language that women speak that turns them on sexually. Right now, I'm also adding in a 1-hour consultation, but you have to read the book Crack the Female Code first, okay? So if you have any questions about the book or about the course of the training, you can call me after that, and if you need me to explain something better or talk about something, I will. Again, normally that package, the ultimate package, goes for $225. Now, right now, it's on sale for $75, and it's going up any day now. This is a former client of mine, Adam. He was very desperate, dateless and desperate, okay? So we turned him around really fast. There he is. Adam, by the way, is a wealthy man. His uncle is almost a billionaire, and no, I'm not kidding. Adam owns a business downtown London Square in London, and is a fairly wealthy guy himself, and he's obviously in perfect shape, and he could not get a girl he couldn't get him past the first date. That was his problem. And he was making the same mistakes that every guy makes that I talk about in my course, that we straighten out. And yes, this is me with two cuties at a club in San Francisco that used to be called the Matrix. Alright guys, that's it. Click subscribe, click the like button, make a comment. This channel is going to start taking off. I've got a list of videos I'm going to start making. Buy the book, Crack the Female Code. I promise you it is going to open your eyes. Alright guys, I'll see you in the next video. That's it. This is Mike Kollin at crackthefemalecode.com.